How's it going, guys? My name is Doe, and today I'll be showcasing the Hunger exotic in Dauntless. The Hunger itself is built from a schematic which drops from either doing heroic pursuits or patrols of behemoths, and I believe can do heroic plus pursuits or patrols, but I'm not like 100% positive, but I don't know why you wouldn't be able to. Once you acquire the schematic for the Hunger, just know that it's not all easy sailing from there, because the Hunger actually requires different parts than any other weapon, and so do all the exotics. They require special parts that, have special conditions to be met to actually have a chance for them to drop. And those are, in some cases, cutting off the tail in under 2 minutes, cutting the face in under 2 minutes, cutting off the tail during Aether mode, all kinds of stuff, which I'll be discussing in a later video most likely, if I remember to make one. But this video is about the Hunger, which is a really unique sword. I wouldn't say really, it's actually a semi-unique sword. And what makes it unique is two things. The first is something called Feast, which is basically its version of Overdrive. And in this mode, you have significant lifesteal, you deal more damage by 25%, and you have increased attack speed, and you also have Aetheric waves. Now, the caveat or the downside of this is you're taking damage the entire time. You have a ongoing dot on yourself as long as this passive is active, which it is active pretty much as long as the other Overdrive, I believe. If it's not, it doesn't say it on it, so I wouldn't know. But this mode will continually take your own life. It'll take your own health, and if you activate it and you don't do anything with it, if you don't hit any behemoth with it, you can get taken down pretty low. I think you won't die, like the dot won't kill you, although it used to, but you can get taken down to no health if you're not being careful. So I suggest don't pop this if a behemoth is running away. Don't pop it if a behemoth is, peacing out. You gotta activate it whenever you're gonna have some time to actually hit the behemoth. Otherwise, you're gonna be having a bad day, okay? So try not to do that and try to be smart with it. And the second thing which makes it unique is something that I wish every sword has, and that is an iframe on your Q dash. So once you activate the Feast, you can press Q again to do a dash. It works exact same in Overdrive, but the difference is that Feast has a frickin' iframe, which other swords should have, in my opinion, because it's really fun to play with, but they don't, so it's unlucky. But that's the Hunger, and that's pretty much how it works. But there is one thing you should know as well, and that is you cannot change the special. So currently the Hunger special is Feast. There is no way of swapping that out. That's just how it is. You can, however, change the mod. You can pick between the current 3 mods, which are Perpetual Blade Core, Adhesive Hilt, and Reactive Hilt, which I would suggest using either Adhesive Hilt or Reactive Hilt as your choices for mods. Now, hopefully that makes sense. If it doesn't, leave a comment down below, but make sure you actually, include my name or at me, whatever YouTube makes you do, so I actually see it. But let's go move on to the builds, and the first will be a DPS build. And for anyone wondering, the Hunger does do some pretty good DPS. It won't be best in slot for the swords because that's not the design of the exotics in their current state. They're meant to be an exotic way to play the game, as in, a new playstyle, a unique playstyle, not as in like, oh hey, you got an exotic, you're gonna win the game. That's not the design. Instead, they're meant to be fun to use, and the Hunger it's pretty fun to use, mostly because of the lifesteal and the iframe, which every sword should have, but again, what do I know? Anyway, back on track, the first build will have the Hunger, obviously, and you'll have the Reactive Hilt as the mod, which I think is the best mod for DPS for the sword in general. Because this works, like I said before, it works on a roll attack, not a dodge attack. It's actually, when you roll and do a instant action of a swing afterwards, that will be a crit. So left click, right click, or heavy or light attack, pick your poison, that will be a guaranteed crit. And it also works with your Q dash, which makes it pretty fun to use. Now for my gear, I have the Hellion Helmet, the Riftstalker chest piece, Koshai gloves, and Careback feet. And for my lantern, I'll have the Drask Eye, which is, again, the best in slot in the game at the moment. And this gear shouldn't be super hard to get. The Hunger is an exotic drop, so good luck on the RNG, have fun, good luck on getting that. But everything else should be somewhat manageable to get. You don't have to unlock these behemoths, by the end quests like Reza or Shroud. So that was kind of what I was trying to go for. And the nice part is, with this gear, I was able to get +6 Aetheric Attunement, Conduit, Evasive Fury, Overpower, and Rage Hunter with a +3 Conditioning cell, which I'm actually loving this build because conditioning is actually a very good cell to have for the sword. It just makes it so much smoother to play. And by the way, exotics do not have stats. No exotic will have a cell stat on it. For instance, you won't have Overpower, Rage Hunter, Aetheric Attunement, none of that will be on an exotic. That's not how it works. Instead, you have the Unique Equip, and that's about all you get. Moving on to the second build, we have a much more tanky build going, and this is going to have +6 tough, which at +6 will give us 500 extra health and 50% increased healing from all sources, which directly is affected by the feast effect, which gives us lifesteal. And for the build, I changed up my mod from reactive hilt to the adhesive hilt, which makes you unstaggerable while in special. So basically, you're not going to have to dodge with this build. But for my gear, I have the Reza helmet, Nasher chest, Reza gloves, Careback feet, and the Koshai's bloom, which is the lantern from Koshai. And overall, this build gives me +6 Aetheric Attunement, Conduit, Cunning, Rage Hunter, and Tough. And if you want to, for the Reza helmet and the gloves, swap out the technique cells for whatever you want. You can go with either Molten, Evasive Fury, anything. I preferred Cunning because I don't have to dodge or worry about picking up orbs, so I could just sit there, stand still, and do damage and heal. Which is, it's kind of broken, not gonna lie. It might get nerfed to some degree because it's, you know what? I'm not gonna say it. I'm not gonna say it. You guys be the judge. But this build is pretty enjoyable because you have the Koshai's Lantern, which I actually never really used a hold cast for damage. I instead use it for repositioning and to just, avoid attacks or anything of that nature. Using it for the damage, you can do that, and it does decent damage, but landing it is kind of a pain because it has a really long reach, and in most cases when you use it, you will go to the spot of a behemoth where you don't want to be, and you'll take damage, and it's just not a good time in some cases. But it's really fun to use for repositioning or to gap close, which is what I normally use it for, and I like it. It's like basically just a dash. It's an extra dash with a sword or any weapon you're using, and I really like that aspect of the Koshai Lantern. And as an added bonus, this lantern has an instant cast, which once you press it, you'll be healed for 10% of the damage you deal for 8 seconds. So that also is affected by Tough, and it's just adding to the fact that you'll be a juggernaut on the Shattered Isles. But before I end the video, I want to say as a disclaimer, using the second build will not net you fast kill times. All it's used for is to basically, mentally AFK and still kill things in Dauntless. So don't expect fast kill times, but do expect to not die for the most part. If you completely just, uninstall your thingy.exe, you will die, especially on fights like Quillshot with the quills, on Ragetail with the tremors, on Valamir with like all the bubbles. If you just eat every single bubble, then you're gonna die. So play a little smart. Just don't completely just sit there and do nothing. Like, position yourself just a little bit. Nothing too crazy, but just don't eat all the unnecessary damage because some of it will kill you. But anyway, guys, if you liked the video, leave a like. If you want to subscribe to channel OhDough's content, and consider checking out my Twitch. I stream there very regularly. I'm very informative. I'm also OhDough's partner. I have my own partner Flare. It's a subscriber incentive on Twitch. And I also have my own Epic Games support creator code, which is going to be just OhDough. It's my name. So if you want to use that when you check out things from the Epic Games Store or on Dauntless, and that helps me out a ton. But y'all, if you haven't already, check out my good friends Zanny Phantom and Revy Rad, a part of, Team Thick, bringing you thickness with a side of quickness, I guess, I don't know. But if you guys haven't already, check the description for the builds and other things. And outside of that, guys, thanks for watching the video. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.